I'll call the meeting to order. And may we have the roll call?
Commissioner Lane?
Here.
Commissioner Whitmer? Here. Commissioner Quinlan is excused. Commissioner Lively?
Here.
And Chair Christensen.
Here. We have the minutes of the last meeting, February 27th. May we have approval? Or do we have any comments? Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The minutes of February 27th are approved. Now is the time for anybody in the audience who wishes to speak on a subject that is not on the agenda. May. Time is limited to 3 minutes. Do I see any volunteers? No volunteers. We'll move on then to commissioners' reports.
None by me.
I don't have any reports.
No, we got here on time.
Gee, we seem to be.
Lots of traffic to do it.
Yes, good. All right, then staff reports.
First thing is the Environmental Protection Committee will be hosting an Earth Day event on April 22nd at 4 p.m. at Holbrook Palmer Park. They are going to be planting a native oak at the park to replace one that died last year. And the item's actually going to the Parks and Rec Commission next week to confirm a location for that at the park. In addition, there'll also be Dr. Larry Costello, who is an expert on oaks in the urban environment. He will be speaking at the event, and there will be light refreshments as well. And then the other item is that the Little League item will be scheduled for the May Planning Commission meeting.
We're not going to be ready for it.
You say the 27th or 22nd?
22nd.
22nd.
Yes, thank you.
That's May 22nd.
What's the time again?
Wait, I'm sorry, for the meeting or for the Earth Day?
Earth Day.
Earth Day is April 22nd at 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
I got a question. Under the memo that was submitted to us from Lisa regarding the draft zoning code update, is that part of the staff report, so to speak?
That was something she gave to me to distribute per request of Chair Christensen, but I believe her or Neil are the staff person to speak to about any questions with that. If you had specific questions about the report itself.
Well, all I have is my comment. That's the first one of these I've seen, that I can remember seeing. And it seems to me that the matter of zoning code updates ought to be run through the planning commission before it goes to the council.
Okay.
Perhaps this is the first time in years that it has been submitted. So, but we'll find out. I'll open the public hearings. We have 2 tonight. Item number 6, the heritage tree removal at 163 Almondrell.
Good evening. The first item before you this evening is a request for the removal of 3 heritage redwood trees at 163 Almondrell Avenue. Construction is currently underway for a new residence, and plans for a detached pool house, garage, and office are under review by the building department. The applicant is requesting a removal permit to allow for a driveway to enter the property at the center of the lot. Plans for the site were designed to accommodate for existing heritage oaks, and none are proposed for removal. Tree protection fencing has been installed for all of the heritage trees on site. The 3 trees in question are located within a row of 10 redwood trees at the front entrance to the lot, immediately inside the property line. These trees are referred to as number 7, 8, and 9 on the site plan and the arborist report. Tree 7, a coastal redwood, is in fair health and condition. The applicant's arborist notes that this tree is fairly young and was planted closely within a row of other redwoods in order to form a screen, which has caused it to have a narrow canopy. Tree number 8, also in fair condition, has a thinning canopy due to competition from the surrounding redwoods. The third tree, number 9, has poor form because of its codominant stems. And the applicant's arborist states that removal of this tree would assist the health and condition of tree number 10, an adjacent tree. The town arborist is supportive of the removal of all 3 trees. He notes that the planned landscaping will soon outperform the crowded redwoods and that the trees are still immature. The owners are planning on replanting 21 various trees, including a 72-inch box live oak. The existing site has 42 other heritage trees. And in addition, staff is recommending that the applicant follow all tree protection measures as outlined in the tree protection plan prepared by the applicant's arborist dated September 15th, 2012. We have received 2 inquiries from neighbors. Neither of the neighbors had concerns with the 3 trees proposed for removal. One of the neighbors, located at 167 Almond Draw, which is immediately to the right of the property if you're facing it, did ask if the ivy along the shared property line could be removed as part of the improvements. The other neighbor to the left also did not have concerns with the 3 trees, but wanted to ensure that landscape screening would be installed for the proposed accessory buildings that will be constructed. As I mentioned, they have not yet been approved by the town, but landscape screening will be required as part of the normal permit process. Staff is supportive of the request for removal of the trees. I'm available to answer any questions, as is the town arborist and the architect and applicant as well. Thank you.
Are there any questions of staff?
No?
Does the applicant wish to speak?
Hi, my name's Steve Simpson. I'm the architect for the project, SDG Architects in Redwood City. I'll just be brief. I'm going to have Dave Roche, the landscape architect, come up and explain kind of his overall vision for the property and the new plantings. I just want to let you know that I'm here to answer any questions, and our client, Dana Visconti's here as well, the homeowner, to answer any questions you may have. Dave Roche.
Very grand design on the house, by the way. Very, very, very good. Nice.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dave Roach from Roach & Roach Landscape Architecture. Thank you for being here this evening and for your careful consideration of our request. My firm works on estate residential projects all up and down California. And very often, as a landscape architect, I am the designated tree hugger in the group, negotiating with the client and the architect and the civil engineer to try to preserve as many of the existing trees as is possible. But I'm happy to be able to say that on this project that has not been the case. Before I was even involved, the clients had chosen this particular property in large part because of the existing trees on site, both the heritage oaks and much of the screening on the perimeter. And they had worked already with SDG Architects to create a very carefully considered plan that worked around the heritage trees that are in the interior of the site. So while we could be here tonight asking for permission to remove some of those oaks within the building envelope, we are not. We have been able to preserve all of them, and to the extent that a fourth major oak on the property that the arborist report had suggested might want to go, the owner has made the decision to try to save. So we are very much in favor of keeping trees. One thing that we do have on this property, there is a phenomenon, not limited to this area or to California, where homeowners or contractors, or even, I'm sorry to say, sometimes landscape architects, will plant redwood trees thinking that they will make a good, quick, evergreen screen, and as a result, plant them too close together. So they're very effective for the first 5 or 10 years. But a redwood tree, as you know, wants to be a couple of 100 feet tall and have a spread of 40 or 50 feet. When they're planted at 10 to 12 feet on center, they very quickly grow into each other and start to limit each other's growth and really hamper their ability to reach their genetic destiny of a big, beautiful tree. So what we are asking for in this particular case is not to remove the whole row of redwoods, but to remove a few at the center. We'll keep the 2 end groups, there'll be 3 at each end to create clusters of redwoods, framing this entry. One of the results of the architectural site plan that preserved the oaks was to set the house further back from the street than was required. So we have a nice deep front garden, front yard if you will, that naturally lends itself to an auto court in front of the front door. And to really make use of that, we need to create this gap through the row of trees. But as a result, we also have plenty of space to plant replacement trees. And we in fact have, on this 2.5 acre property, there were about 45 trees identified by the arborist as large enough to be in his report. There are at least that many other smaller trees that are not part of the report. But our landscape plan proposes 70 new trees on that property. 45 of them are ornamental trees of 24-inch box size or larger. 20 of them are 48-inch box size or larger. So we are putting a significant number of large specimen-sized trees on the property that we feel will compensate for the loss of these few redwood trees, and will also allow the adjacent redwood trees to fill in better, as noted in the letter from the arborist. He says, I love trees. I'm in the business of planting trees. But I also understand that not every tree in every location is a good tree or has a good future. So we would like your consideration to allow us to remove these few trees and replace them with far more trees in a better configuration. Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Well, maybe I have one.
Perfect.
I'll take it up. Was any consideration given in the beginning about, instead of having this driveway go right straight up to the auto court coming in from the left-hand side and saving all those trees? I'm concerned about knocking out the front teeth, so to speak, of that row of trees.
We did look at various options, and there are other trees that might have to go if we came in from either side and did more of a loop drive sort of a configuration. It is possible. That is still a possible option. It's not our preferred option, and results in some other problems. There's, in addition to that row of redwood trees, if you've been out to the site, you saw there's also a row of sycamore trees, which are effectively street trees, although I'm told there are no street trees in Atherton. But there's a row of sycamore trees there, and we would have to work through those, and there are certain ones that we were told must remain, so we didn't want to remove those or alter them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that would like to speak on this matter? If not, I'll close the hearing and start out by a discussion among the commissioners. I'll ask you to start.
Okay. When I drove up to the site, the first thing I thought, man, those redwood trees are too close together. So that was before I even read the report. And so I sat there, parked in my car, reading through the report going, oh, it's funny that would work out. So this makes sense to me. I also looked at it from the standpoint of would it make sense to have another driveway configuration? I think it would, but I think under any of the conditions, the trees are planted too close together. So it seems like a reasonable request to me, and it seems to be okay. And that area would easily not notice those three, I don't think, gone. So I'm fine with it.
Rebecca?
I'd agree. I went out and looked at it, and the sycamores on the street kind of overlap with the redwoods, and I thought it would be a reasonable act to take some of those out.
No?
Well, I'm still concerned about the visual effect from the front. Here's a row of trees with three of them knocked out of the middle of it. The architect has partially persuaded me, because of the planning of the balance of the trees on the property, that this would be a good exchange. So I'm thinking about it at the moment.
The oak tree in the middle is an oak, isn't it? That big one, the big one in the middle?
Yes, the valley, yes.
Yeah, that big one will be like visible then, won't it? Won't it
Yeah,
be-
everything on that site was designed around that tree.
Right, so it seems to me like that would be like the frame for that tree, and that's the way I saw it when I looked at this map, and so I thought, first thing I thought was, well, that's a very big house, so what's the impact of that? And then I looked at that tree and I said, well, it looks to me like that's gonna drive right up to this huge tree and just be like a big picture frame for it. So I was okay with that view too.
You're talking about the 48 inch?
Yeah, yeah, it's big, it's very big.
I find some problems in the application. I think the heritage tree ordinance is designed to preserve large trees. We are going to be looking at it later, I hope this year, and may make some changes. But right now, I think the purpose of the ordinance is to preserve trees. When you look at this row of redwood trees, it may be a little bit too close together, but if you're going to solve the problem, you might remove alternate trees rather than just three in the middle. That's still moving the three in the middle here leaves 3 trees in a row and 4 trees in a row. So I don't think that argument really lends itself to get my vote at any rate. As to the redwood trees getting in the power lines, I looked up at them, and right now the problem is the sycamores on the street getting into the power lines, and the trees at this point are far from the line. There's no place in the heritage tree ordinance that consideration or more consideration should be given to the site because it has a lot of heritage trees or it has a smaller number. The purpose of the ordinance, as I've said, is to preserve the trees. And I think the purpose of this application is frankly to get a driveway through the center there. And this is contrary to the spirit of the heritage tree ordinance. I think if heritage trees should be considered in the planning, and in a case like this, there's ample room for driveway to come in from around the line of redwood trees. So I would vote no. Now, does anybody want to add anything?
I had a clarification question of what you said. So you were talking about the idea that other trees potentially would be taken out. Those would be heritage trees that would be taken out, right? To thin it out so that it would be.
Well, if the argument is that they're close together and we're thinning out the row, then rather than creating a driveway, I would think you would remove alternate trees so you'd have larger space between them rather than just 3 in the middle. You might remove 1 in the middle and that would make the 2 on either side further apart, but 3 in a row is really, the purpose is to create the driveway, not to save the redwoods. So, I'm have a negative vote to cast on this one. Is there any further discussion? If not, may we have a motion, or what do we wish to do?
I'll make the motion with the idea that in any event there be heritage trees removed. So I believe that consistent with a preferred plan by the landowner, and I think a good plan overall, at least with the exception of whatever outbuildings we have to review. That's the combination of things that I look at any one moment are: one, what are the ordinances, what are the exceptions being made to the ordinance and why, relative to the plan of the site. And so I'm comfortable with the overall strategy of the plan for the site, and the exception fitting that overall plan. So with that, I'll move that the planning commission approve heritage tree removal permit for the removal of 3 redwood trees identified in the site plan as number 7, number 8, number 9, subject to the conditions listed in the heritage tree removal certificate based on the reasons incorporated in the staff report.
I'll second that. I'll support it.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against?
Against?
Against? Motion does not pass.
10 days to appeal.
Yeah, I would.
May I ask a
We have
question?
Through the chair, since it's a 2-2 vote, the item actually dies, it's not passed or
No action.
there's no
Yeah.
action.
No action.
So possibly give the applicants an opportunity to request continuance, to possibly redesign.
Well, or
To
appeal,
vote.
right?
Well, there's no appeal on a no action, because
Okay.
it's no action.
Okay.
So what we generally recommend, if there's one person missing, is that we continue it and bring it back next month when there's a majority vote possible.
Or what does that do to the timing of the plan?
It's not for much.
We just have to wait.
Which they'd have to have.
Yeah, you have to wait anyway. So unless you want to, you can discuss it again, see if anybody changes their mind, or you can stick
Well,
with the no
I-
action, or you can continue it.
I personally would object to a continuance. It's pretty clear. The no action taken by the planning commission.
Is the continuance on the applicant's choice or ours?
No, it would be on yours.
Okay.
You agree to
Yeah.
continue it.
So if somebody wishes to make a motion for continuance, we can. I think that would be
It's still come
fair
back
thing
next
to
month.
do.
Well, the applicant also has the right to appeal, whatever.
Not,
Oh.
not on no action.
No action.
No.
And we have to have a stand to do that.
If we decide not to continue, they can appeal that, I presume.
Can't appeal a no action if it's just a 2-2 vote.
But the action would be not to accept a continuance.
I think what they would probably do is go back and work with staff and bring it back before you next month, as versus appealing it to the city council.
In the same form.
In this,
Can
I
they,
mean-
can they appeal? Well,
All right, well
So
then,
it's-
the other approach is that somebody changed their vote so they get the opportunity to appeal.
that is also correct.
Okay. Then the only way that we can give the applicant an actionable thing is to have a no vote.
Excuse me, staff, is that correct? We cannot reapply next month if they
You
have
can-
no
You can
action?
go back and work with staff, and you can reapply, at which time you would get, because Commissioner Quinlan is not here, you would actually get an opportunity.
So in that
Bring
case,
it
they don't need
back.
to change their vote, it's just a no action. We reapply next month with 5 commissioners and see how it goes.
Staff, that is, yep.
Okay, that
But
works.
it is
That would
not a
work as well.
continuance.
All right.
It
No,
is
it's
not.
not.
It's,
All right,
it would,
I just want to provide the applicant a way out, rather than just stall.
Yeah,
So
I
if
think we prefer
if that
that.
works, then I'm okay with that, otherwise I was gonna change my vote. All right.
yeah,
All I
I
wanted-
mean,
I-
in general, appealing to the city council would
Good thing
be
you're changing your
a
vote.
bigger hoop, and it, I
Yeah.
think, gives staff less flexibility to work with.
Oh, it's a new application,
So-
that he can come back up.
I just hate to have a citizen stuck, so that's all I was worried about. Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much. And,
If they wanna do the
we'll
same
move
thing,
on
they
to
can
the
do same
next
thing.
item.
Quinlan is trying to- and no one goes.
Which is
So no one went to the property line.
125.
Now, somebody
All
wants
for this
to
one?
go up and get what they wanted is versus having to
Here we
appeal.
have the staff. What on this?
The next item before you is a request for a special structures permit for the site at 125 Alta Vista to allow a pool to be located up to the front setback of the main residence. The previous house was demolished in 2011, and plans have been approved for a new residence with basement and detached garage. The applicant is requesting to locate the pool closer to the front property line than is normally allowed, so the pool will be located outside of the bathroom, and not towards the rear of the home where there's an existing view. The standard setbacks for the accessory structure or pool are 10 feet from the side and rear property lines and 30 feet behind the front line of the main building, or 120 feet from the street, whichever is less. The applicant is requesting the pool to be located 72 feet from the front property line or 12 feet behind the front line of the house. As you are aware, the code also requires accessory structures to be located a minimum of 8 feet from the residence. You have been submitted with new plans this evening at your chair. The pool now is located slightly over 8 feet from the wall of the main residence. The applicant's proposing the pool to be covered by a roof with large skylight and open arches surrounding the pool. This entire structure will be located within the main building area. In order to meet the requirements for square footage, this covered portion would have to be open on 2 or more sides, so it could be exempt from the total square footage calculations. Staff will verify consistency with all of their floor area calculations, as the applicant will need to submit a revision to the already issued building permit if this item is approved this evening. There are several heritage trees on site. The town arborist, Kevin Keelty, conducted a site inspection and noted that the pool, as proposed, is outside of the drip line of the trees and will not have a negative impact on any heritage trees. There is also existing landscaping which will help screen the pool. Staff did receive one comment from the neighbor adjacent to the property on the right side, located where the pool is planned. The neighbor did not have any concerns with the pool itself, but did have some concerns over the location of the pool equipment and whether that location of the equipment along her property line would result in any tree removals. The architect did confirm that one non-heritage tree would be removed as part of that proposal. However, they have submitted a plan, which is in the newer set, that shows an alternate location for the equipment on the other side of the property near the garage. Their preferred choice, however, is the original location on the right side of the property. We also received a letter from the neighbor at 471 Fletcher in support of the project. There's also copies of that at your chairs. In response to some clarification questions posed by 2 commissioners, the applicant did submit the additional materials that you have. One of the sheets is a building section demonstrating the pool and its depth. The second is a revised site plan which shows the alternate location for the pool equipment. The third is a revised floor plan that demonstrates the dimensions of the pool. And then the fourth is a breakdown of the floor area. There was also a question about whether the owner of the reservoir immediately behind the property was notified. The owner is Cal Water, and they were included in the notice as part of the 500 foot radius, and we have not received any comments or calls from them. We are supportive of the request based on the reasons and findings in the staff report. I'm available for questions, as is the town arborist, architect, and property representative. Thank you.
I'm looking at the plan. Do I understand that the covered structure, or maybe I should wait and let, I guess the architect make his presentation. Andrea, Eric has a question.
Oh,
Is this like a lap pool, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Is this 5 foot depth and everything?
The applicant, yeah. The applicant may make his presentation probably be clearer after.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Coy Lay from Glacier Lay Architects. I'm the architect for this house here. I just want to thank you for having us here, for presenting this project in front of you here. My clients have been longtime residents of this, of ATHERTON for many, many years, and a year and a half ago they stumbled onto this beautiful property overlooking Bear Gulch, and they just decided they wanted to build a dream home here. So with that in mind, they wanted their master bedroom on the lower floor, and they are just asking for an exception to have the pool within this area because they're getting a little bit older in age, and this is the only form of low impact exercise they can get. It's not a lap pool or anything like that where kids play or whatnot. If you look on the floor plans, the pool is located directly next to the master bedroom. So his idea was to come out of his bedroom, come out of the bathroom, do his exercise, and then take a shower and then go back to bed, or do whatever he needs to do. And if you look at the site plan here, as Andrew's holding up there, as you mentioned before, it is 72 feet from the front property line, and it's about 51 feet from the side property line, and it's all within the setbacks, the buildable area. It's a covered pool with a skylight above it. Do you folks have any other questions?
Well, I have one, and probably Andrew is the one to answer it, is I'm still puzzled why you're before us. If this is in the building area, you can
It's,
decide who's, but if this
Oh,
is
okay.
in the building area, pretty much you can build anything you want within the building area, as I understand our ordinance.
So this is the first time we've had a situation like this with the pool covered, and the covering's actually part of the main residence.
Right.
The accessory structure ordinance talks about pools being defined as accessory structures. So with our interpretation with this, we were taking the most conservative view that a pool is an accessory structure and has to meet those requirements.
Even if it's located within the building?
Even if it's located within the building. But as I mentioned before, and I discussed this with the deputy town planner, we are also looking for your interpretation of it. As I mentioned, it's not something that's come before us before, and it is completely within the enclosed portion of the house. So, I mean, taking it a bit further, if someone wanted a pool in their basement or something like that,
Mhm.
it'd be sort of the same issue where it's just the way our code defines accessory structures as, pools are accessory
Pools, no matter
structures.
where they're located?
Right, so,
No, that's a definition that should be changed, I think. I mean, Hearst Castle obviously has an
Right.
indoor pool, and this isn't meant to be the same thing, but it seems to me it's part of the house, and if you want a pool inside your living room or whatever you want, as long as it meets safety standards and building code, there's no need to apply to the town for it.
This has only got 2 walls, doesn't it? And a roof.
it
Is that
has
right?
one wall, it's open on all 3 sides.
On 3 sides.
Correct.
With posts,
Yeah.
Arches.
yeah, arches.
So these are openings, and these are openings, and this is a big opening here, and this is the pool location here. And this is the only solid wall which is attached to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like a covered porch in my mind, that for an entranceway, you don't have to go to us to get permission.
So,
You have a pond in there, fine, I don't know. But let's go on, and,
he also, sorry, wanted to show the section.
so this is a section of the house here, and this is the attached wall that we're talking about, the skylight. And this is, we're 8 feet away from the main house, and the pool's right here. And you can't see it, but this is the setback line here.
That 8 feet is a deck?
Yes, per ATHERTON codes, you have to be 8 feet away from the house
But
for
it's-
a pool.
It's a
or
deck.
an extra,
It's
yeah.
not
or an
Yes, it's not
accessory
water.
structure. Yeah.
And if it were a deep, long bathtub, it would be okay. So, I'm just wondering.
Is it just a labeling thing? So this is the main house here, this is the rear elevation of the house, and this is the pool area with a great big opening. And this is the elevation that you see when you're driving up the driveway The pool area is right here with a few arches. I'm working with Andrea to
Make sure
make
it's
sure
the
everything
two
is
sides up.
to the planning, zoning codes and whatnot. And just, we just want to point out that the pool equipment is here and here, and the neighboring property, I believe there's a garage and also
Yeah.
another pool equipment here. And per your request, we located an alternate location on this side here. And Commissioner Whitmore, I called a few pool contractors and whatnot about your concern about when they have to repair or maintain that pool, they would not be emptying the pool out towards Bear Gulch Reservoir. It's actually connected, the pool will be actually connected to the sewer lines.
That could be more concerning.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah, so that's one of the concerns some of the municipalities have. So the other option, the pool consultant told me about is they dump it right onto the street, which is kind of scary too, with all the chlorine and all that.
We got our pool empty, and we had it pumped out to a truck because of the chlorine in it, so.
You're a good guy.
Oh, try to comply,
And another concern you folks had was keeping wildlife out of the pool area. So we're working on that right now. So one of the ideas we may have is to just put some fencing here, some planting and whatnot, so the animals can't really get in there, some deer-proof plants and whatnot. Here, and there.
You can figure that one out. I got 3 raccoons that I can take care of in my house.
Just what the client needs to, when he wakes up in the morning and goes out for a swim.
That's his exercise.
They're standing outside my pool looking at me like, what?
What are you doing, Bobby?
Well, somewhere in our code, we've got a pool fencing ordinance. And I trust you're looking at that as well.
Yes.
For danger. Yeah.
That could be around the whole property though. That doesn't be around the pool itself.
It's around the whole property
Right.
to keep all the kids out.